everyone, already we're on episode 5 of Gathering Nature, and we have another wonderful and informative show for you today. Now, the person who informs us about all things medicinal and culinary with regards to the herbs and the plants we speak about is Natasha Lloyd, medical herbalist. So I think we should go and check out what is today's plant.
Hey, hi there. It is time to look at some of the roses. So this is a beautiful dog rose. And I really would love to talk lots of things about roses, Jaden. Let's really get deep dive into this one.
Dog rose it is then. Can't wait. Let's go and meet Natasha Lloyd. Hello, lovely.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
I am so pleased about you wanting to talk about dog rose because, funnily enough, that's what this show was planned for.
Was it?
You are psychically... I'm going to have to talk to Jackie more about you, actually, because you're psychically attached, I feel. So tell us, how's it going in sunny Scotland? And then let's crack on, because I think we could actually talk about dog rose because, you know, that's the wild rose. It's very beautiful. You find it whilst foraging, but we can probably, if you want, cover a little bit of information about all roses would be lovely while we're on the subject.
Yeah, I mean, dog rose is so delicate and beautiful, but there's also a few other wild roses like Rosa gallica and Rosa... Oh, I've forgotten the other name. Anyway, there's a few other wild roses, and they are just gorgeous. But yeah, we can cover all... They're all good.
I'm pretty. You've already got me at that. You've already got me at that, quite frankly. So let's talk about the dog rose. Tell us a little bit more about it. What can we use it for?
So rose petals can be used for so many things. In terms of culinary delights, like rose petal jam. You know, we think of Middle Eastern culinary cooking in terms of... Oh, I can't speak today, Jaden. It's just not quite coming out right.
Yeah, do you have a herb for that?
Yeah, sleep.
Okay, yeah. Valerian then, maybe.
Yeah, valerian will be the one for that. For me, chamomile is usually enough to get the nervous system back. Yeah, in Middle Eastern cooking, you often use rose water, which is the distilled part of essential oils.
Okay.
And that's used in a lot of cooking. But we don't tend to use it that much here in the same way, unless we're choosing to use other cultures' cooking techniques and ingredients.
The only thing I've ever heard of as was a kid was rosehip syrup.
That's delicious.
The only time I've kind of heard about roses being used in British culinary exploitations, but never kind of heard it in anywhere else, really.
Well, rosehip syrup was very common after World War II, where kids were paid to go out and get rosehips and take it to the local chemist, and they made the rosehip syrup to boost the health of the nation because it's vitamin C content.
Wow, okay. So it's just a prettier sounding vitamin C tablet then?
Yeah, but it tastes a bit nicer.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, when I was doing the Wild Biome project, I made, because we weren't allowed to use anything other than wild food, I used rose hips to make a tomato sauce with some, so we couldn't use salt or sugar, had a little bit of honey, but I didn't use it in this particular dish. So I had sea spaghetti, which is a seaweed, and it looks like spaghetti.
Wow, okay.
That's my movements for spaghetti.
I'm liking that, yeah.
And then I thought, well, I had venison mince. Let's try and make a sauce. So I'll try rose hips. And it really tasted of tomatoes.
Bloody hell. But all of a sudden now, rosehip syrup sounds pretty rank.
Why?
Because if rosehips tasted tomatoes, I wouldn't feel like a rosehip syrup tasting rosy.
But I suppose the syrup's got sugar in it, whereas this didn't have any sugar.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, maybe even tomatoes might taste... I'm not a big fan of tomato sauce cold in anything. Give me tomato sauce in pasta, but when people like, I want like, was it a Bloody Mary? And I'm like, oh, I couldn't have tomato juice in a drink. Like for me, that would. So, but rosehip, I remember it being really sweet and really rose flavored.
Delicious.
Mm.
But then since doing that, I thought maybe it was psychosomatic that I wanted it to taste the tomatoes. But I've done it since for the book, and it's the only one in the book that doesn't have a plant page for it, for roses, because I just wanted to put that recipe in there so that people can try it. And I've tried it since, and then I had friends round, and I'd made this the sauce and gave it to people, and they were like, "Do you like the sauce?" "Oh yeah, that's a really good tomato sauce."
Wow, cool. So yeah. And is it just any rose hips or just wild roses?
Any rose hip. All roses.
Every rose that you have in the garden, everything?
Yeah.
I've got 2 here.
Great.
And rose hip is once it's passed, right, and turns into like, do you have to wait for it to go a colour, or, I mean, because it doesn't matter?
Here we would wait until it went with a frost, which softens it slightly.
Okay.
But you're not going to get many frosts, are you?
No frosts, no.
So in the freezer to break down those parts.
Okay, so just pick rose hips and put them in the freezer?
Yeah.
How many would you have to collect to make a sauce, just out of curiosity?
If it was a sauce for 1 or 2 people, probably 20.
Okay.
Depending on the size of the rose hips, because like Rosa canina is quite small.
Right.
Yeah. And then like Rosa gallica is quite big.
Okay. Okay, that's really I never knew you can make a bloody pasta sauce out of rose hips. That's amazing.
You want to make sure all the seeds on the inside are taken out because they have irritable hairs on them. Irritable hairs. The hairs that make irritants. I really can't speak.
They are irritable, or they cause irritation. They're like, get the
They cause irritation.
Hey, leave me alone. I'm just sitting in the hip.
So they used to be called itchy coos, where we put them down people's backs.
Oh, right.
Rose hips when they were starting to break apart, and then you'd rub them on someone's back, and it would be irritating for the rest of the day.
Okay, so the seeds themselves aren't irritable. That's cool then.
No.
Irritating, right?
Ask them.
Okay, so what else? Tell me more. Roses, what can we use them for? The petals?
Yeah, so rosehip petal jam, which is delicious, obviously with sugar. But they increase microbiome diversity.
Which means?
It means that they create a better environment for your gut flora to increase and diversify.
Wow, okay. Would they still do that if there was severe amounts of sugar accompanying the...
I don't think the sugar would be a good idea.
So how would you use them in order to be, like, for them to do their job in your gut?
Quite often use them in tincture or in tea. Tea would be the best form because obviously alcohol irritates the gut flora as well.
So rose petal tea?
Yeah.
You just boil rose petals, that's it?
Yeah, or you could make a blend with rose petals in it.
Wow, okay.
We're going to make a tea blend from your garden.
Yeah, because I've got dandelion and everything. I'm just gonna have a mash-up. What does every plant taste like together? If I miss a show, it's because either we're severely hallucinogenic or because the boy's feeling mellow, you understand. But I should be here for next week. That's amazing. So can you also eat the petals raw?
Yeah. Yeah. They have an astringency to them.
What does that mean? Like
dries out your mouth.
Okay. But not unhealthy for your tummy and everything?
No, not at all. Really good for your stomach.
Oh, okay. So you could also decorate salads with them as well then?
Yes.
Nice. Tell me some other medicinal properties of roses.
So the other medicinal side, which is not scientific, but touches on the other realm of herbalism, where you're looking at, how did someone describe it the other day? The parts in between science. So the art of herbalism. Roses used for processing emotions.
Okay.
Particularly grief.
Okay. Well, it's funny because obviously we're going to go and chat to Jack in a minute, but a lot of roses is also on a magical level is about love and self-love as well. So it's used very much for for that. But okay, and that would be in the guise of a tea as well. Would it help process or?
Tea, I tend to use it more in tincture because it's easy if you're not feeling great and you've just had a great big loss and you're full of grief, or you're finding it difficult. I don't know, with grief, it can feel like you're walking through treacle
Yeah.
because you've got so many emotions. Drop dosing it. Just a couple of drops will help release those emotions.
So is it a bit like an antidepressant on some level?
Ah,
A mood lifter, like a St. John's wort?
a mood shifter is a better way of putting
Okay.
it. So I tend to ask people to do that when they've got space, if they need to cry or release those emotions, to have space to be able to do that. Don't
Right.
do it in a shopping centre or in the
Right. Yeah. Or in a public swimming pool or something like that.
supermarket. Yeah.
Maybe not a bad idea. How would you make the tincture, out of curiosity?
Rose tinctures are an interesting one. Most tinctures are made where you put the plant material in with alcohol and water
Mhm.
and leave it for 2 weeks. With rose petals, you do that for 2 hours. It comes out so quickly.
Really? And then do you take all the petals out?
Yes.
So you're just left with the alcohol and water at the end of it. That's it.
Yeah, with the extracted parts of the rose. I mean, it turns it a beautiful. Well, if you use red or pink petals, it changes the colour.
Wow. So that's all you'll do? Just pure alcohol, water, no sugars, no nothing.
No.
Just the rose petals themselves, and that is it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And for like a regular bottle, see, you just wanted to knock one up for yourself just to make sure you're in a good space. How many roses would you use for like a bottle of tincture?
Oh, now depending on your size of your bottle, you need to weigh your petals. So to say how many is not the way that I would think about doing it.
Okay.
I'd need to go away and calculate properly, but usually a lot of petals, like
So
a
we're
lot.
talking 2 roses worth or a whole bush?
No. I'm thinking a litre of tincture.
Okay.
So should we just say 100 ml? So a small bottle.
Yeah.
Probably 5 rose heads to 10 rose heads.
Okay. So for a regular, 'cause some people probably wouldn't want to make a whole litre unless they were going to give it away. So enough to have like a pipette bottle kind of to keep in your bathroom cabinet for those days when you just need to kind of shift. So would be about 100 mils, and that would be about 5 rose heads. And then it was, just remind me of normally of what the ratio water to alcohol is. Is it 60-40 or 70-30?
It depends on what you're using. So
Yeah.
for flowers and petals, it would be 25% alcohol.
75% water.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But for things that are like roots, you go further up to 40% for most
Okay.
leaves. Roots is 50 to 60. And then if you're really extracting something very hard like myrrh would be 90%.
Right. Okay. So people at home, we are going to continue, but just to recap really quickly, if there is something that you want to make a tincture of, please make sure you leave a comment under this video so Natasha can give you a little bit of advice of how much the ratio between water and alcohol is. We don't want you feeling nothing or getting completely inebriated, so it's going to be really important for you to find out the proper ratio of alcohol water for your next tincture. Anything more? And what?
And dosages.
Oh yes, because that would apply as well, right? Of course. Okay, yeah. You need to be asking questions, kids. I'm going to be asking questions, I tell you. So, rose petals, leaves, stems, thorns, all can be used in magical work, but what about medicinal and culinary?
So it's only really the petals and the hips that are used.
Okay, you wouldn't use any of the other stuff.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Compost heap to grow more roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen like people like you're saying about kind of like Turkish and Middle Eastern cuisine, a lot of kind of rose syrups. I'm just making kombucha. I'd say sambuca at the moment, but I'm not making kombucha at the moment. And a friend of mine, which I have to ask her, she flavors hers with rose. How would I flavor mine with rose if I wanted to make it rose flavored from a
Or rose petals.
would I just put them into the kombucha, or would I make a tincture, or would I boil them, or what would I do?
I suspect you would just put the petals in. I don't know, to be completely honest.
Okay, this is your homework. Rose kombucha flavoring, how to make the healthiest rose. Okay, I guess you'd maybe even making a syrup from it, right? And adding a syrup to kombucha. I mean, kombucha is pretty much tea and sugar anyway.
So the syrup's not going to make a bit of difference if you're adding the sugar, because it doesn't end up being sugar at the end, does it? It's all fermented.
It's all fermented, yeah. So it's literally just adding a flavour rather than anything. How would you make like a rose pet? Could you make a rose petal syrup?
Yes.
And how would you do that?
So you would get your rose petals. I would steep them overnight. I'm doing something very similar in the kitchen right now.
Ooh. Here's what I made earlier. We're turning into Blue Peter. It's wonderful.
And then I let that get cold overnight and let everything steep. Then I put it in a pan, heat it up just enough. I don't want to boil it. I want to just simmer it slightly to get more of the flavour out. Then drain that of all the material and then add sugar.
Okay. And then boil it again with the sugar, or no?
You take it up to the temperature of the where the sugar dissolves.
Okay, so let's just clarify. So you put all your goods into a saucepan and boil it, I guess, like you would a tea, no?
Well, initially I put hot water on them overnight to
that's how
cold extract, then warm extract.
So put your rose petals into a saucepan, pour boiling hot water over them, leave it overnight. When it's cool, then boil it to simmering. How long would you let it simmer for?
Oh, not long. I just want to bring it up to temperature to get enough of those extra materials out of the petals. Then
compost all the materials, get all the materials out, so you're just left with the liquid. And while it's hot, you add the sugar and then boil it until the sugar and then heat it until the sugar disappears.
Yeah.
Oh my God, even I could do something like that.
It's really simple. If you're making kombucha, you can do anything.
I make a mean-ass chicken, bacon and mushroom pie as well, I've just discovered. So actually, I'm getting culinary flashes over the last couple of weeks, probably thanks to this show.
Nice.
I'm spending more time in my kitchen than ever before. So that was how you make a syrup. That is amazing. And then I guess wait for it to cool down, then add it to... I guess you could use it for anything, though. It's just a syrup. Sweet drinks.
Cocktails.
Lemon and rose water. Oh my God, that could be
ice cream.
Nice, mate. We need to start a show. People need to hear about this.
Be fun, eh?
You know, definitely a thought.
I'll show you my syrup next week.
Thank you so much. I should look forward to that. Anything else? Any more budding information with regards to roses, the wild rose? Can I just ask, actually, before I'm buttoning again, sorry, you can always button whenever you want. I found very similar, I've got blackberries growing in my garden, they're huge. And actually the rose, the flower of the blackberry, looks identical to a rose. Same family or pure fluke?
Oh, no, different family. I'd need to look that up fully off the top of my head. I'm pretty certain it's a different family.
I'll send you a photo of one on my
phone.
Family. Really crazy similarity, like beautiful flowers, very rose-like. I didn't know whether it was going to be like a distant cousin.
Okay, that's homework for this week.
Okay, people at home, if you have any information on that, please add it to the comments section as well. Any more parting words on rose or roses?
Not that I can think of. Just enjoy them. Just not just their taste, but their visual and their smell. Smells so beautiful.
My goodness, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to create more of a rose garden when I get a bit more time. So I think really we need to go and find out the magical and the spiritual properties of the rose. I'm sure Jackie has quite a bit to say on that.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Let's go and meet the wonderful witch of the West. Thank you, Natasha. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Take care, hon. Bye-bye. Absolutely wonderful. Always a pleasure to speak to Natasha. Please don't forget to follow her on her social media platforms, and you definitely need to go and buy her book, foraged condiments is available on Amazon. Make sure you get that, because a lot of the recipes with regards to plants that are on this show are featured in that wonderfully illustrated book. Definitely a book for your bookshelf. Go and get that before you turn off the computer. Now, it's the magical part of the show. Cannot wait to be going over to sunny Avalon and to meet our resident wonderful witch of the West, the amazing Jackie Thackway.
Hiya, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about dog rose. I really like this plant. It's a wild rose, which is beautiful. I have it growing in my garden, but it's gone over this time of year, and it's been quite a hot year, so it didn't last too long in my garden. It's a really versatile plant and can be used for many things, such as love, healing, working with grief. It's really good to bring in abundance, can be used for divination and protection. So you can collect it and you can dry all parts of this plant, whether it's the petals, the leaves, or the thorns themselves, and you can use them in many potions, incenses. You can even use the petals in teas, and you can make oils from them. If you're going to use them in teas, dry them out nice and slowly, and just steep them in hot water. And the petals as well are really good for love spells and for attracting love. But with love spells, I always say caution, because technically speaking, for me, love spells are a little bit of a grey area, because you're potentially taking somebody else's will from them. If someone is going to fall in love with you and the relationship is going to be successful, hopefully that's going to be because they want to be with you. But they can be used in those kind of spells. And it's also good for working on long-term relationships that might be going through a little bit of a rocky spell. So you can use the dry leaves, again, in incenses, the petals, oils, or you can steep them in water. And when the water is cooled down, you can wash coloured pink candles in them to enhance that magic. They're really good, like all roses, for beauty. So adding the petals to a bath to aid beauty, but also for self-love. And the self-love, I would use the rose hips, which are the fruit, the autumn fruit of the plant itself. You can use the seeds of self-love, I'm looking at my notes here, which are contained within the rose hips, which are often associated with things like new beginnings, planting the seeds of new beginnings, or actually to represent the seeds of love. And the thorny stems, so you've got the thorns of the stems, and you've got and the associations of love with the flower, but the thorny stems can be used for protection. So that could be after a breakup, maybe, if you've initiated it and you want that ex-lover to kind of back off a little bit, you can use the thorny stems in spells of protection for yourself. And they're also said to be good to ward off evil or bad spirits. Again, you can hang them in doors and windows. If you keep, so folklore says, if you put one of the rose hips underneath your pillow, it wards off nightmares. I've never tried it. I don't know whether it works or not. And also in folklore, some traditions talk about planting this particular rose, this wild rose, on graves, because it symbolises eternal love. It's also used in traditional witchcraft to mean that which is secret. So it stands for silence and confidentiality. So in ancient Rome, this is where it stems from, in ancient Rome, a wild rose in particular would be placed upon the door of a room where confidential matters were being discussed. And this has come forward into traditional witchcraft, and the term sub rosa, under the rose, means occult secrets. Whatever you're being taught is sub rosa, for your ears only. You don't allow those secrets to permeate out to the wider public. So this rose is really versatile. It's one of my favourites, as all roses are beautiful. But yeah, it has many different meanings, very many different traditions, and lots of magical uses.
Well, how amazing has today's show been, and also how super sad that we've already come to the end. Thank you so much, Natasha and Jackie, for your input today. Always wonderful catching up with you both. Super, super lovely. People at home, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait until us three meet again, whatever the weather, thunder, lightning or rain. We will be back next week with another episode, another wonderful plant to discuss. If you have any questions for the ladies, please put them in the comment section of this show. Please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you like and you share. It will be really, really wonderful to know who's watching that. And don't forget to follow the girls on their social media platforms as well. We will see you next Thursday on Gathering Nature. Take care. Ta-ra.